Today we will answer the question, how can I get OAuth token from Azure Active Directory and use it to query the Azure Active Directory Graph API? And we will try to give the simplest possible answer. So what do we need to have in order to query Azure Active Directory Graph API from our application? First, we need an application. We will need to create a web application in our Active Directory. So let's go navigate in the management portal to our Active Directory and create a new application there. It will be an application that my organization is developing, and it will be a web application or web API. We will name this application Graph API Editor. Sign-on URL will not really matter for the moment, but application ID URI should be unique. So let's keep it within our Azure Active Directory custom domain. Once our application is ready, we need to configure it. First of all, because we will need to access the Graph API, let's explicitly grant this application permission to read directory data. If we also need to write directory data, for example, if we need to update some properties of some directory objects, we will need to write the read and write directory data permissions. One more thing, we need to create an application secret or client secret, which in this case is a key. And let's select 1 year duration for the key, save, and then the key value will be displayed after we save the changes. Here is our key. We copy it to our clipboard and then we go to a PowerShell ICE. These are two very simple functions. One of the function gets a token from the Azure Active Directory OAuth endpoint, and the other function queries the Active Directory for the users. To get a token, we need to provide the function a client secret and a client ID. Also, we need to make requests to our own tenant. So let's replace tenant with the name of our Azure Active Directory tenant. What we also need is the client ID for our application. So let's take it. Because the client ID and client secret are going to be submitted as HTTP request body items, we need to URI encode all non-alphanumeric characters. So the plus sign here will have to change to %2b, and same for the other plus. Now we have everything we need to get a token from Azure Active Directory OAuth endpoint and use this token as barrier authorization token to query the Graph API. Let's try to run that script and see what happens. We see a list of users. So let's quickly see what happens in the get token. We create a post request to the OAuth endpoint of Azure Active Directory, presenting our client ID and client secret, requiring access to the Graph API. And we get a token because we have granted this access in our Windows Azure Active Directory Application Permissions section to read directory data. Then, in order to get the users, we perform a single GET request, providing the authorization header, which contains the token we just got from the Azure Active Directory. Thank you for watching Dayzure.com.